I want to read one of the tweets because this is the type of person that you are, savage. You tweeted, sometimes I'll email prospects that rejected us early on, Chad ramming them results of us making their direct competition millions of dollars with no CTA. And that that was just like hilarious when I read it. Like, what made you do you act okay? Was that a joke? Do you actually do that?
Not anymore because we're not really in the marketing space, but I used to just let it fly, man. You might as well, and you'd be shocked, dude. Sometimes they just turn into clients because what most people don't get is that simply being around like speaks a lot in the especially in the marketing space. Like
Yeah.
if you're like, hey, I'm still here and I'm just this much better. Like it was kind of like satire, right? That tweet, but at the same time there's only so many people in the world, so you inevitably hit them again, right? So yeah, I mean, I would just send them. You just keep sending them results, and at some point, if they're like, stop, we will respect it, but why not? Like everything is just people, and like people want results. They want leads at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that was
So
a lot. I mean, a lot of your tweets are like that. But before we jump into it, just let the people know who you are, what you do. I guess they got a taste of it from that tweet, but you know,
yeah, my name's Dillon Andrew. I run a company called Niche Capital right now, where we connect company owners with lenders directly. So initially, we just kind of removed all the junk from lending. You fill out a form right now online, you think you're getting a loan, and what happens is they just sell your data over and over and over and over again. And pretty soon you're getting sold like auto insurance, and you have no idea what happened. You've got everything in the world except a loan. And on the rare chance you get to talk to someone, there's a good chance like they're scamming you. So we're kind of just injecting ethics into kind of a legacy industry, if you will. But most probably know me from the cold email space. We ran up a cold email agency basically and really kind of popped off in the financial sector, which rolled the money into the money connections all kind of rolled into this project. And
hmm.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna dive right in because I think your experience and your track record speaks differently. Because the most people kind of do the same stuff. I mean, of course, it's just a unique way of doing things. So, and you've been the poster child. I always say that, and I think you call yourself that,
Thanks, man.
the poster child for cold email and Inframail. And you're one of our top users, oldest users, top spenders. We use it in our advertisements, advocators, everything in between. So, how has your like experience with it been so far, and things like that?
Dude, it's been wonderful, man. That's why that's why I'm still here. Like it's really not that deep. I get people of all sorts. Like they message me about it. You ask me, hey, can I use this case study? Can I use whatever I say, and I'm like, it's no big deal to me when people message me. There's the guy who's like scared to get, I guess, ripped off on $99, and then there's the guy who's got an established company and everything in between. I'm like, it's not that deep, man. Like buy it and try it. It works. I've been using it. I don't what, however long you guys have been around, really. I
Yeah,
I
it's
took
been.
one I took one break, and it's not worth the hassle to figure that out. You're trying to run a business. Like I don't think anyone should know what a DKIM is. To be honest, I don't know what a DMARC is. I don't know what a DKIM is. I set up the records when I was forced to, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't have a clue what they do, what they are. Don't want to know. I was disgusting, dude. You're trying to run a business. You don't want to learn what a DKIM is. It's just when you could just go on and set it up and like click 8 buttons and chill for a week and then and then get clients. Like there's nothing in the history of business where like I've ever read a business book where DKIM is discussed. So like spending any time learning the mechanics of that when someone like you has obviously put like dedicated your life to it to some extent, correct?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, Inframail is great, man. It does what I need. You can't see it here in the interview or whatever, but you can mention it. Yeah, I asked you about, double tripling down on it the other day because I'm like the cost and simplicity of it is a bit of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
For me, even I think I got three accounts right now. I don't know, what is that, like $300 or something?
Yeah, you're at
But
an agency pack, and you've been using it. I think a lot of people that one of their fears is like, oh, it's gonna poop on me after however long, and you've been using it, like you said, with one break, and the break wasn't
brother,
long for like over a year.
brother, I have been using it and I have been abusing it.
Yeah,
And it's still functioning. Like there's times I'm like, I'm gonna just spank this thing silly with like do stuff that like everyone would preach against.
yeah,
And then if something goes wrong, I tell whoever does your chat support, and they fix it in like an hour usually. Like they'll like, here's all your new stuff, and you know,
yeah, and
it's
that's
like press restart on a video game and I'm going again, and it
yeah.
works.
Yeah, it's crazy the way you've used it. Like you said, it's like you spank it. You do crazy stuff that people don't do. You go against the grain, and I guess it goes into the next question of like you have a lot of unconventional ways of doing cold email, testing different things and all that, and pushing a lot of boundaries. So why do you like do that? Where does it come from?
It comes from the fact that like I survive off it, man. I have to I have to generate money from it, so I have to get to answers like sooner than later. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what's unconventional in the space is just their I guess idea of unconventional is really pretty conventional things in the normal world. You know what I mean? Like you just think of I've spent a lot of time dealing with like I guess boomers and like the just like that 55 50, like they're smart enough to grind. They kind of need to grind still, but they're not like tech savvy, right? And I just always think like how would they even approach this, if they had this knowledge? And for the most part, it's like it's just pretty simple, man. Like I just send more emails up, and I just keep everything very simple. I think last month, maybe the month before, dude, I'm like, let's just find out once and for all. I think we spent like it was some stupid amount of money, man, on AI. It was like to where it went past what I wanted it to. I'm like, oh, that was a little painful sting to the P&L
Mm.
unintentionally. But I'm like, let's just find out. Let's just deck this email out. Like it's completely personal. The thing took longer, cost money, and did worse than like a
Mm.
generic email.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know. People like for some odd reason, like people think I shit talk that Clay. You're familiar with
Yeah,
Clay,
yeah.
right?
It's
And
a huge
I
platform.
don't, man. I'm the first guy. Like I could play around in Clay all day long. I would love for that to be my job, to be Clay quality assurance, but it's just a waste of time and money. Like if it's that hard to sell something, like you should sell something different, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Clay is definitely a good software, but I think you're the perfect example of showing people that, like, look, if you want to get creative after you have some sort of success, that's good. But like, even if you're successful, like the best way is just following this discipline, the same thing, simple stuff, one, two, three, ABC, and it just works all the way, to like 100K a month. Like literally, it can work so far. Well, I
And
mean,
real quick, man, like and people don't want to accept this, right? But speaking of like unconventional wisdom, I believe that most people see every email. I do. They just choose not to reply to you. Like, I don't care if an email is this long or this short or what the script is. If you can scan it and see something relatively useful, like I'll respond. I do, and so I've had just billion-dollar companies respond to us because like they needed whatever XYZ offer was at the time. And I don't think it's any more complex than that.
yeah, no, 100%. And the cool thing is like you're deep into it. And I saw you built a proprietary software for your leads, like your lead management. And yeah, tell us a bit more about that, why you did it, like who built it, like I would love to know about that.
Yeah, so like what you just said, right? The basics over and over and over again. So what it all ends up coming down to, especially if you've survived for more than a year per se, there's only so many people, right? And instead of spending your time on what you're going to say eventually, I mean, hopefully after a month, you know what to say, right? And so what it all comes down to is managing the data like properly, because you're going to have to, as as you mentioned in my savage tweet, I guess at the beginning, right? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to email people twice. It's just the way it is. So what we do, and a lot of people don't know this, but data, like in many instances, data is the most valuable thing a company has. Most companies behind their front end product, they get bought out because of the data rather than the product itself. So we just track meticulously. We know who opens emails, we know who replies nicely, we know who's going to say fuck you, and we just what happens is whatever the sending tool is, it reflects in our data, and it just we can send data, we can pull data back, and we just keep a very, very precise records on that. So, even if I wanted to go back to an agency client, not that that sounds good at all, but uh, we have a head start because we have like millions of people that we know how they respond to
Mm.
other people asking them something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that software was really like the only it was impossible to send it the volume we do without something like that. So it pulls data, formats it, and it just sends it off to working campaigns. And then what happens is when it gets to instantly, smartly to we built like a AI categorizes it, and then we respond to the interested people, and the rest of it gets pulled off and sent back.
Mm. That's interesting. And who built that? Like in it's obviously used in-house, just a disclaimer, everyone, like it's not a public thing. You built it in-house just for you guys, for you and Dayton, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
what yeah, like who built it?
We have an in-house developer. He's really sick. We call him T, but yeah, yeah, it's just we found him on Upwork, and we've probably been working with him for 1 or 2 years now. He's awesome, dude.
That's amazing.
And
So
Dayton kind of like Dayton put a lot of it together. He's like, you can't live like this, man. But I was so busy living like that that I just didn't want to build anything. So
yeah.
he kind of kickstarted it, and then I fine-tuned it, and it's really allowed us to be what we are now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like just so people know, like, what you've actually done in this space, maybe they haven't seen your your legendary tweets, but like what are like some of your accolades. You built a $1 million agency, you sold a little fintech company for 250K. How did that happen? Like what was that like?
That was much different, man. That was like before even I knew about cold email. So a lot of SEO there. I was working with a buddy, and he had just kind of some lending sites, and I just same thing, at that time that wasn't obviously not enough money to like retire or anything, but we had marketing clients, and you chip away at a bigger thing. Like I think a lot of people would benefit just chipping away at literally something that's can grow even a little bit
Mm.
per day without their intervention, something. Because the thing with the agencies, you just stop working on it for I don't care what people say, dude. You can have the sickest team in the world. You just don't touch an agency for 3 weeks, it will begin to fold on itself. And
Mm.
then the multiplier of selling it, like, and you're not gonna sell an agency to Bank of America, man. Like, no, just the God honest truth. So like, there's not a lot of value. Some agencies, if they track their data properly, would probably make more money selling a list. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And that's kind of my point, right? If you knew every car dealership in the world who responds to emails, that's worth more to someone than your campaign, I guess, than
Yeah.
4 meetings a month.
No, yeah, for
And
sure.
people are like, oh, when you want 10 meetings a month, I'm like, you gotta stop with that. Like the bar is increased. Like
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a very low bar. I mean, with cold email, a lot of people, I mean, bringing up the 10 appointments thing, that's like what they offer because they can't get the results that you get. They can't get the results what the big, that the big guys get. What do you think makes people unsuccessful in their pursuit, for cold email?
I kind of like they overcomplicate it, right? Like just send emails. So the first thing like anyone could really do to fix their emails, like spend more time pulling a good list than writing your script. Like Like the order I'll pull a list in is like a specialty data. Like try every niche has like a company that does that data. So if you're like selling weed products, you got to find a database who has like a cannabis directory.
Yeah, yeah,
Every time a client came to us with like their own like database of something like that, like it smokes. I mean, 15-20% reply rate, like nice reply rates, you know, and they make a shit ton of money. Like we work with the cannabis guy, I think like I don't know what he spent with us, maybe like 20 grand or something, and he and put on like 100K, no joke. I don't of like recurring revenue, something absurd, man. And everybody who came to us with data like that, I recently helped out a guy. I think does like he works with wealth advisors, but he came with his own database too. And now you're in an instance where you literally just say, "Hey, saw you're this thing. I do this exact thing for you exactly." You
mm,
know,
yeah,
it's not a big deal. You're not spending time reaching out to like people who don't need it. So specialty database, and then if not, I go directly to find email because the other thing people don't get is that all these other databases, they're just aggregates of LinkedIn for the most part. Like
yeah,
you could tell because they all have a LinkedIn profile. And if your name on LinkedIn is Kiddu's crazy man 42069 gang,
yeah,
it will be the exact same on whatever
yeah,
Apollo, right?
yeah,
Zoom info. So they're just a delayed LinkedIn. So my process is specialty, find email, and then if you're in an industry like large, just gotta get his like we'll even use Outscraper now because our demographic is everybody, right?
yeah, yeah.
But
Outskirts.
if you just like have a sick little offer, man, like you do this little thing for real estate agents, like you don't need to do what I do. Just chill out and find people who are actually real estate agents.
Yeah. So you
And
think?
then this the second, man, not to I could rattle off. I don't know if we're on a time
Oh,
frame,
go ahead,
but
go ahead. I want you to. Yeah,
the second thing here is like going back to what you do is like a lot of the new guys, man, they miss the boat a little bit. So contrary to everything I just said, when we first started cold email and I type a cheesy first line, like I could be like, "Hey, Caduce, saw you went to Oregon State, quack quack, go Ducks," right? The cheesiest
that was
thing,
like that was like depersonalization at some point. That was like the thing that everyone
it
did.
was it, man. And we did it manually, or some VA did it. And if he could sound halfway American, you would dude, the first guy I sent like 300 cold emails for him. The guy was talking to like 40 people, man. Like stoked. So the newer group, they sort of missed that boat, because it got so saturated that's not a thing anymore. So the way to go is you got to be direct, and you have to find the right people. Like I said, you have to be as direct as possible. Like my first line is usually exactly the truth. Hey, Caduce, found you looking for a sick internet an email provider, right? I say exactly how or what context I found them under. And then the third thing is volume and consistency, man. And I think that's like if you don't have a lot of money, like we diversify now. I got you guys, I got a whole bunch of stuff just in case
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
don't want to end up broke. But if you don't have a lot of money, your Inframail is like the perfect thing. I don't know why people fight it because you can do some volume for a cost. I mean, I ROI on you guys in the first like 11 minutes of my month. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
What I spend on you guys, I make back in day one of month one, usually hour one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but yeah, like you said, I mean, people need to keep it simple. They need to be consistent. They need to stop overcomplicating stuff. I mean, it's not that deep, like you said. I think the whole stigma also in the cold email space of like the sky is falling every, month or 2 months is like the worst thing because it's really not that deep. Every single time it just gets readjusted. It's the same loop that goes on, but every time the loop it's like the stock market. Every time it goes up, everyone wants to buy, and then when that bad time comes, everybody's getting fear mongered again, and then it goes back down to normal, and it's like everyone go back into email, and it's like, come on, what's going on? um
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That's
I
so
mean,
true, man.
going into that though, do you think it's here to stay? Like going into like this whole thing, fear mongering thing is, do you think it's legit? There's a timeline to it, or is it going to be here forever?
It has to be here forever, man. Like, and what happens is people are gonna quit, and so then it goes back to normal. Like it's like when you get in trouble from your parents and they're like super mad, and then they're like, they send you to your room, and like your brother, he's even being good because you're in trouble, and like that. I feel like that's what they do with the cold email rules. They crank it up, everyone quits, like you said, and then they chill out because it has to be that way. It's email, man.
Yeah.
Like I think what happens too is you get super deep in anything, right? And then you think it's a big world like crypto, right? For a second you're like learn about crypto and you think like you're gonna miss the boat and everybody knows about crypto. And aside from the concept of Bitcoin, at least a few years ago, I mean, a small fraction of the world knows what crypto is. Like, your grandma doesn't know where to buy an ETH or what an ETH is. So when you're in something, you think it's like this big world. But if you zoom out, what is email, man? Like, think about it. If you went to Google, if you're not labeled cold emailer or whatever you want to call it, you're a sales guy. That's all it is. And if you took your company and you called Outlook and said, "Hey, I need emails for my team," right? Let's
Yeah.
just say you're a billion-dollar company. You go out, my team needs emails. Can you like set us up? They're not gonna be like, yeah, but you're gonna have to wait 2 weeks, warm them up in case you go to spam, and then I would start slow. Like if you started emailing, you're like, and you call them back, and you're like, my sales team, like nobody's replying. They can't cancel it because it's used in the real world. So if you go and you put a label on yourself, like you're too deep in it, but it can't go away because it's how business America functions.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. A lot of people think it's going to go away. I think it's the oldest form of, communication on the internet. No way it's going away, just like cold calling, just like everything else. It's always going to be here. It's just it might have dips, like of like less people doing it. Like you said, when you zoom out, there's very few people and it keeps changing. Like the meta like keeps changing and then it gets nerfed and then you find a new meta and then it gets nerfed. So it's like it's just going to be that cycle, the cat and mouse game, but it's always going to be here.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is overreact, man. We just did it. And we're like jumping from instantly smart. I mean, we just a ton of money, man.
Yeah.
There's like a ton of money doing that. And time, money, energy, and then you don't want to do anything, and then it's bad news. You can't go off the Richter when there's a dip.
It's usually people that do that that make cold email their whole life. The ones that fearmonger, it's like, bro, like you're gonna be thinking about cold email in 20 years. I'm not thinking about cold email in 20 years. Um,
Yeah.
and so last question, what is a hot
Yeah.
take though that you have with cold email, like that maybe people don't agree with, or that you just believe in?
I think I cover most of it, man, but it's not that deep. Like that's my take. It's not that deep. Like people are they're too in love with their offer and what they do. So I almost did it myself. Like I told you I was helping out this kind of guy. He was writing to wealth advisors, another dude, and they kind of send you what they want to say, and it's huge. I'm like, you like this too much, man. Like let me write it. You know. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey guy, I saw you do this. I'm looking for people that do this. I do this. And the reason I reached out is because I just did it for this other guy. That's it, man. If it has to be worse than that, like you got to find something new. Either you're not appealing enough
yeah, yeah.
or
People
you're selling the wrong thing.
Yeah, that's what you said. People are too in love with it. You definitely have to gotta have many girlfriends in the game of business, man.
You do.
You
Like
can't be the first one. Can't fall in love.
yeah, I had this buddy, man. He does LinkedIn. He's just a cool guy. He's just like us, just like a chill dude. And he's like, I need more clients. I'm like, hey, just go to instantly buy this thing. And then I'm like, and send this. And just pull your list on Find Email and just send it. Like he's talking to people because he didn't go down some deep hole of mentors and gurus. Like you needed more clients. So I said, here, tell this group of humans what you do. Now he's talking to people. It's a shocker, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's very
that's why like going back to what you do, it's like it's a no-brainer, man, especially if you're starting out. Like just hop on. If you can't spend 99 bucks, like you should probably quit there, you know? Like if you're not gonna invest 100 bucks in yourself, and that's way cheap. I don't even I'm not saying that in like a negative way. I'm shocked. I think it's a steal because you would think something that, like doesn't work at that price, but it keeps up with Outlooks, it keeps up with the Gmails, it keeps up with every other thing, and it's the only one that has survived. I've tried a few others and they tank, 20 days in. It's not worth starting over.
yeah, we're going. I mean, we're going strong, baby. We're going strong. Uh,
Yeah, I'm shocked, I'm like every time I look at it, I'm like, well, it's still working. And then that's why the other day I messaged you. I'm like, maybe we should maybe we should double down on this.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely, dude, it's great. And I think what you said also, I know there was a video that I saw on your YouTube when you talked about Inframail, and you said that it's perfect for someone that's new. And I mean, granted, your experience, right, and you still use it. It's everyone has it in their stack. And by the way, I diversify just like you. I use Google, I use Outlook simply to like test out the different things, see what, how we can make ours better, what we, test against, whatever. I use everything. So a beginner, 99 bucks, people that are like, oh, I can't afford this or whatever, it's kind of like, I mean,
Not
and
gonna make it. What do you
not
guys
gonna
say?
make it literally.
NGMI. Yeah,
NGMI,
not
like
gonna, no shot.
that's literally what I was thinking. So, but we'll do some hot seat questions, not gonna take very long, but
Yeah,
instantly or smart lead,
instantly.
soft CTA or hard CTA,
What was that one?
soft call to action or hard call to action.
Oh, hard, man. Always hard.
Damn, okay. Lead magnet or no lead magnet
In what context?
when just sending the email, I guess on the first.
No lead magnet on email. Great. Lead magnets are great for ads and building the list,
That's
building an audience.
that's fair. And then spring water or purified water.
Spring in a glass.
Yeah, exactly. Sushi or steak?
Oof. Steak. Long term.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
If I had to go with one daily.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's a hard one. I don't know if I would choose steak. I don't know. It's tough. But dude, Dillon, I appreciate you coming on. It's been over a year that we've known each other. I mean, at this point, and we've never spoken to each other. This is the first. I mean, a little bit before the call. Like and we've never done it over call. So I appreciate you. It's a pleasure to have you, man. Like you don't even understand. Just like seeing your tweets way back when I was doing cold email, and then now you're using something that we built, and now I'm talking to you here, and now you're on the channel and all this. It's just surreal. So I appreciate you hopping on.
Right back at you, man. Thank you.
Of course, of course.